Welcome back to the $2 Film Club. Today we are getting back into the superhero mindset. As you know, we were supposed to cover the last three Superman films up to Man of Steel. Wait, did I say two or three? Whatever. Anyways, and that was kind of coinciding with the release of the new Superman from James Gunn. But we decided to push this back to a later date and actually do a review on Superman from 2025. So here we are, finishing off this little series, this two-parter. And yeah, so today we are talking about Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Then we are going into Superman Returns from 2005, I believe. Is that correct?
2006, bro.
Okay.
Get it right.
2006.
Not
And
a
then
fucking fan.
Man of Steel from 2013. And these are the controversial ones. These are the ones that many people probably debate over which one is worse.
Well, I think it's really interesting because, like, watching them in order back to back, you can kind of see, like, the evolution of what they were trying to do and
Yeah.
how they kind of just fucked it up at every single point they could. And it began, like, even before the Quest of Peace. This happened, like, started after the first film even released. So, like, tensions after that first movie never settled down because, like, I was telling you about this earlier. For the quest for peace, Christopher Reeves threatened he wasn't going to do the film, so he got a story credit on the film, which has heavy influence on the nuclear tension with the Cold War, which was currently towards the end or expiration date in 1989, 1990. But this film came out in 1987, and what? The Cold War went from 45 to 89, 90. So, yeah, this film talked all about nuclear warfare. And so the only way they could get him to come back was if he had a story credit. And then what was the other thing I said it was?
They paid him a bunch or something.
No, it wasn't. My bad. I go back to our text messages because, like, I straight up just, like, blanked on what the second thing was as I was talking about it.
Oh, weren't they like they would finance one of his projects?
Oh yes, that's what it was. He did it in favor because he did a lead role for one of their films.
Yeah.
So between the two of those, that's why this film was made.
I
And
mean, they
to
did also
say,
pay him $6 million.
I mean, that's besides the point, though. I don't think Christopher Reeves is the dude about money. You know, I mean,
Mm.
I think this is the film to tell you that this is not a dude about making all that money. I think he's already settled down at that point. He started making a bunch of films. He'd make in the children. No, wait, not Children of the Corn. Children of the Dam remake. I watched that like a year ago. Fucking awful. So, like, the dude's well known at this point. I don't think the money was the issue. I just think he genuinely cared about the character and didn't see anything going forward outside of something that he felt that he could bring to this film. And it's very evident. He has very strong opinions.
I don't know. I mean, I know you're making fun of his story or his involvement in the story stuff, but I don't know. The nuclear stuff is not the worst part of this movie.
Oh no, it's
I
not.
like I yeah, it's not. It's probably not a good move to have been so involved, considering this is probably most people's least favorite up to a certain point. Um, it's definitely the cheapest one, and it looks cheap. Mostly visual effects wise.
Yeah,
Although I will say there's also a lack of extras sometimes in certain locations.
his suit
Um,
looks awful in this. Like, the back shots of him, you could see the awful stitching of the his back. Everything about this film just looks bad. From
I
technical,
mean, a lot of the like model work stuff that like whenever he's like doing whenever Superman's doing stuff that isn't relying on blue screen, it looks good. But there's those are few and far between, and so the rest of it just looks like shit.
hey, at
The
least we got to
flying
see
sequence,
Lois lose her memory again.
dude, oh my god. I
And this,
got
and
so
bro,
angry. I was kind of enjoying the film up until that point, and then he fucking kissed her, and I didn't realize what was happening because he kissed her,
it's
and
so
then she kind
sudden.
of just like went limp, and I thought it was like a joke or something, like, oh, she's so taken by him, but then he walked away, and
Goes
he
into
looked
the
he looked he
bathroom.
looked really like upset about something, and then it dawned on me. I was like, please, for the love of God, tell me you did not just fucking erase her memory again. That shit angers me so fucking much, because like at
Four
that
for
point it's
four,
just fucking
baby.
at that point it's just fucking cruel, like what he's doing to her.
I'm shocked her like mind isn't fucking blended right now.
I
Like
know,
I,
right? And yeah, I don't know, but also it's just dumb because it's like a big slap in the face of the audience that kind of like wants them to be together, especially because in the third one we have Lana, and then she's not here anymore, and then they're playing up the fact that like he's not with her, but then all of a sudden it transitions into this fucking love quadrangle or whatever, because Lois is in love with Superman and Lacey's in love with Clark. And it's all of it.
well,
He's two timing them.
can can you even say that? Because the dude just straight up just is just like going back and forth the whole time, and I'm pretty sure they seem to be aware of it. Like the two of them, like what's her name again? Not
Lacey.
Lois, Lacey. Yeah, when Lois and Lacey are just always in a scene together, they seem to be like two BFFs, just like giggling that they're both sleeping with Superman. But like, I know that's not the context of what's ever going on, and it's just funny because Superman is just he just seems so confident and ego driven a little bit in this film.
Mm,
In that idea, in terms of like going back and forth between Lois and
and
then
Lacey.
Lacey, and it's just really confusing.
I don't know. I never got the sense that Clark was ever really that into Lacey. It's kind of more like a one sided thing.
I didn't feel
But it
like he was
doesn't
into
help that
either one of
he's
them.
constantly like um what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, he's just like giving in to her and, going out with her and stuff like that. But then at the same time he's flirting with Lois again as Superman. It's really annoying, and it's not fun to watch either. Um I think the biggest problem with this movie, kind of similar to the last one, is that everything feels kind of disconnected from each other. Like none of the plot points really have anything to do with each other, just kind of things are happening. But I will say that I appreciated that in this movie, Superman is actually the main character. And he does Superman things in it. But
I
I don't
mean,
know. It wasn't. It's not enough. It feels more of a Superman movie, but it's still very clearly like it feels like there was a lack of effort put into it.
no, you could definitely tell that everyone is checked out. Gene
Hmm.
Hackman is literally just playing Gene Hackman in this movie.
Yeah.
Is
Well, he's
literally
definitely here for the paycheck.
yeah, no, Gene Hackman's there for the paycheck. But like, dude, Lex's story, especially with I always forget John fucking Cryer's in this
Oh
movie
yeah.
as Lenny, and every time I've seen this movie, I always forget that he does absolutely but fucking nothing in this film, and
All he
it's not
does
just
is
him,
get his dad, or not dad, his uncle out of
his uncle out.
prison.
And then Lex is literally just like, "Yeah, you're my favorite family member," and it just goes like on that back and forth for like the entire film. And you're just like, "What?" But they kind of treat it like a buddy cop film in the sense that they're traveling around while they're doing all these like devilish things. Superman doesn't know that's going on until like Nuclear Man, who's played by Mark Pillow, by the end of the film. Like, bro, Nuclear Man doesn't even come into like the last 20 minutes. And also, like, they do not hide the fact that this is New York City. Metropolis does not exist in this
Oh,
film.
there's a big wide shot at the beginning of the movie, and I remember just being like, "Oh my god, that's just fucking New
They
York."
fly in
I
between the Twin Towers, bro, at one point. At the
Oh,
end, I'm
do
like, dude,
they?
what is going on? Dude, they're picking up Lady Liberty. I'm like, what is going on
Oh
with
yeah,
you
you're right.
guys?
You're right.
Like,
Damn, that's crazy.
it's just so wild that they start doing all of these. Like, it's that type of stuff that throws me out. Like,
I bet
I
you
think,
that's just fucking stock
dude, it's gotta
aerial
be.
shots that they had. like
At least
just
like
in
Nolan
the
can get away
studio.
with like shooting in Chicago and calling that like Gotham, you know? You're not
Yeah,
seeing like all these big super monumental buildings like the Twin Towers and Lady Liberty being used in big set pieces.
the shape of like the coastline or whatever, or you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
The shape of New York City is too recognizable for anyone to look at it and not be like, "That's New York City."
Yeah. Like it's so bad how almost every aspect of this film just feels half-assed, and like you were mentioning with the visual effects, like almost all of the blue screen in this film, you could just see the lining around all the actors, and I don't say this often, but it's kind of embarrassing to watch. Like, and I don't even mean that in a funny way either. That's the worst part. I'm not even trying to be funny or like disrespectful, but like I genuinely feel bad that someone had to put their name on that and have it published to the world. And someone sat in the credits and looked at that name and was like, "Wow, I know who to blame for this." Like
Well, yeah, I
that's
mean,
what I feel.
that's the thing. It's never the fault of the artist. It's always a studio thing of just like we and that's why it's like that, because obviously in the first two or the first three, they were using a lot of like I can't, was it front or rear projection? I can't remember which one,
It
but
was
they were
rear
using a lot of,
projection.
what's that?
It was rear.
Okay, yeah, they're doing a lot of like rear projection, and so it blends into everything a lot better. But with the blue screen, you're compositing all of it, and obviously at the time, blue screen was
The
more.
thing.
It was. It wasn't as refined, and
No, but everyone wanted to do
they're
it, and that's the
trying to
annoying
keep
part.
costs low, and so not only do they opt to use blue screen over rear projection because it has a faster output, so therefore it's cheaper. Because like with rear projection, you would only get like a handful of shots done a day, but with blue screen, you're
You can
just
just throw it
filming
in.
it and
Throw
filming
it
it.
in.
You're just getting them out of the way, and then it becomes like a post thing. And you can clearly tell that they had no regard for any of the post stuff because the lighting is all wrong. um and yeah, so yeah, you can tell a lot of the actors look kind of faded. um and then you can either see the bleeding from the blue screen, or you can see just the lines of where they cut things, which
The
is never
person
good.
who put the mascara on Christopher Reeves should be arrested though, because man, that guy is fucking pampered up in this film. Like, am I the only one who noticed that? Did you think about that too?
Not
Like in
really.
comparison to the others, like bro, I'm telling you, look at like I'm looking at photos right now just from Quest of Peace to the others. Like it just looks like he's got makeup on, and like I'm not saying that in like an insulting way, like oh a man shouldn't be wearing makeup, but it just looks so fake and like it doesn't look realistic. His nose just looks super shiny.
They're probably trying to hide the fact that he's aged.
But no, he didn't age poorly. That's the thing. He wasn't a bad ager. Before his accident, the guy like he was in shape. He had good skin. Like that's why like his hair is super dark. It
Mm.
looks super plexy. Like he looks like a doll a little bit. I feel like that's what I'm trying to get at.
Mm.
And it kind
It
of
looks too like,
distracted me.
yeah.
And I'm like,
I mean, I didn't notice it too much. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it didn't really but there's too many bad things to see in every frame though, which is
no, I agree. And I think like the reason why I put the word embarrassing before all this is because all the films before this, yes, even the third one, did a better job at it than this film. And that should
at the
never
visual
happen.
effects.
Visual effects, yes.
I mean, yeah, but
There's no reason or excuse when they've had the budget. Like, what
well, I
was the
think the
budget?
problem is that
17
it's
million?
produced by a different company this time. Yeah, this is a Canon film.
Who ran Canon at the
The
time?
Canon Group.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
this
will.
is
Okay, I will say this. I just looked now. The budgets are significantly different, though.
Yeah,
I did not
I don't.
realize
Yeah,
that.
so I'm pretty sure the Canon Group bought the rights or licensed the rights or whatever from the Salkinds to make this movie. Because I'm pretty yeah, because the Salkinds I think were um
I mean, dude, Superman 3 was made for 39 million. Quest for Peace was only made for 17.
yeah, the budget got heavily
And it's trying to
slashed
do way
before.
more than what the third movie was doing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I think that's definitely its biggest flaw is that. Well, I mean, it's really sad to think about because nothing really happens in Superman 3, and in this movie they just kind of got the shit end of the stick of you know, oh, we don't
Of
have the budget
Christopher
to
Reeve's
do.
political drama.
No, not that, but just they didn't have the budgetary means to accomplish what they were trying to do.
Well, I think in due reason to that is it was very evident that Reeves and everyone else on the canon side were just like at odds.
Yeah.
I think I told you this earlier, but there's I don't know how many hours, but apparently there's like 2 to 4 hours worth of footage of Christopher Reeves just having nuclear monologues like he has at the end of this film. Like,
Mm,
did you notice when he has that monologue at the end? They just fast transition out of it as he's speaking because that's all he did. That's all he wanted to make the movie about. And it was very clear they wanted to make a Superman film and he wanted to make his own independent project, which is cool and fine, but it seems like he was just kind of manipulating them to give him the money to it seems like he knew that they would do whatever he wanted in terms of the story because they just wanted him back. And I think he took
mm,
advantage of that. Whether for good or for bad, right?
yeah.
And I think it was both parties doing injustice to the character, whether they were realizing it or not. Like, there's no reason that Lex could have been in this movie. There, you can make an argument for why anyone but Superman could have been not been in this movie, and I think that's the biggest detriment, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Lana Lang's
it definitely feels like they're
nothing.
just trying to be like, oh, this is all the cast is back on the first one. You guys like the first one. It doesn't really seem like there was much care for the story. Um, and I mean, I don't know. Yeah, just
It doesn't seem like there was much care from anybody. And it's hard to say that because this is the fourth film. And it's like you were just saying, all of the same people except for the group that made it, right?
mm,
It, and I think that's the more frustrating part. Like, there's no reason that Gene Hackman should just be giving in a half-ass performance. I'm sorry. Like, the dude is a critically acclaimed actor at this point, and I get like, I know there's like a bunch of actors now that come out and be like, I make the trashy movies for that paycheck. But I feel like there's such a stigma around that original film, and especially the second one, that I think looking at the franchise as a whole should be a little bit different, and have some more standards put up towards it, especially with how hard the third one was reviewed, right? Like,
I mean, just I mean, the difference is so clear in quality between. I mean, even Superman 1 and Superman 2, but going into Superman 2 to Superman 3 is
an
it's a
awful.
jarring experience, and
And then
this
going from
this
three to
one
four is even worse.
this one doesn't fare much better. I don't think it's that bad. I think they're opposite ends of the spectrum of bad, and
That's
they're
fair.
bad for different reasons. Because obviously Superman 3 it just is. I don't like calling it a Superman movie because it never really feels like anybody really cared to make that part of the movie. Um, and so it's really just like a Richard Pryor movie for some reason, but it's not funny or interesting
It's
to watch.
it's like an hour and a half Richard Pryor stand up.
And then with this one, it feels more in line with like a Superman superhero movie. But obviously the budget is really low. It looks really bad. Some of the acting isn't very good either, and the writing suffers a lot for it too. I don't know. I think I'd still rather watch this one over Superman 3, but I mean, it's like a marginal. thing.
I was about to say either one. Just send me to the fucking electric chair. That's what I have to
Yeah,
say.
I'm definitely not saying that I'm in any hurry to, because even among the other bad Superman movies, these last two, I'm not like, I don't really want to return to them anytime soon. And honestly, I was never gonna watch them if not for this podcast.
No, yeah, it's true, and more so, just it's kind of just like hard to watch, not because they're bad, but it's almost like watching someone die slowly a little bit. In my opinion, you just progressively like it's just crazy how far off the edge the series went after the first one in terms
Yeah,
of
it's because they fucking
everything.
fired Richard Donner, man.
Yeah, that's
Richard
how
Donner
it
was
all
the only good
started.
thing about the fucking those fucking movies, and they were like, nope, you gotta go. Every decision
It's
after
so
that has
true.
just been
One
wrong,
just like
and
one little pebble pushing us over the cliff little by
yeah,
little, and you can just slowly watch them like try to figure out what they're trying to do after they fire Donner, but
and
then
fail
just
miserably.
really know, just see clearly that they don't know what they're doing, and it's just like watching a horse get beaten to death. You're just like, come on, just shoot it already, just like give it up.
I think the main problem is that pretty much everyone like every producing um team that was involved with these movies just wanted to make money, and Richard Donner was like the only one that actually cared about the story and Superman as like an icon. And so after he was gone, there was no one really to like fight them on it. And so you get, a weird movies like Superman 3 and Superman 4, and then you get just the weird, all of the bad decisions that they made, the countless movies that were never produced. Superman Returns, that was a fucking box office flop. Man of Steel took the character in the DC universe in a direction that was very polarizing. And now we have James Gunn's Superman.
Hey, I'd rather watch the other two that we're going to talk about over the Quest for Peace any day of the week.
No, yeah, yeah.
Um, do
You want
do
to
you
get
want
into
to? I was
it?
going to say, yeah. Do we want to move on to Superman
Yeah, I mean, I
Return?
don't really have much else to say about
No, I
Superman
don't
4.
either. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think this is when the conversation's really going to get interesting from this one and then Man of Steel.
Yeah, but before we talk about Superman Returns, I do quickly want to talk about the planned and unmade Superman 5. Um, because obviously the Salkinds were going to produce their own Superman 4, but they didn't really have the resources or reputation anymore to do it. That's why Canon came in shortly before the production was supposed to start on Superman 4. The Canon Group had a major financial crisis, and so they slashed the budget on this. That contributed a lot to the poor look of the film. And so on a budget of 17 million, it made 36.7 million dollars. Obviously, that wasn't exactly enough to warrant a sequel, but they were still intending to. Essentially, Canon's sort of business model was to, how do I put this? Like, use movies that they were producing to secure funding for other movies that they wanted to produce. It was a very flawed business model. That's not really the best way of putting it, but that was essentially what it was, kind of. But yeah, so they were going to make a Superman 5, and what they were going to do. So there's 45 minutes of deleted scenes from this movie, where Lex Luthor would have created a nuclear man that was much more flawed and not as powerful, and he would have a fight with Superman and get defeated, and then that would prompt him to create the nuclear man that we saw in the actual finished version of the movie. And so essentially what they were going to do is they were going to reuse all of those deleted scenes and shoot additional slash reshoot stuff to make it seem more like a new story, if that makes sense, so that it wouldn't be tied directly to the plot of Superman 4. So that those were the original plans for Superman 5 under canon. Obviously, Thank God that never happened because it just would have been worse, somehow worse than the movie that we actually got. And thus begins the long period in between movies. And after this, I'm trying to think if there was another one, but what were you going to say?
No, I was just gonna say, God help our soul if they ever made that, because it doesn't sound good. I mean,
Have
it's
have
hard
you
to.
ever have you ever seen any of that deleted footage? It's not good.
Yes, the stuff with Nick Cage, right?
No, I'm
Wait,
talking about.
they actually have like deleted footage of that. Like they shot it.
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said deleted footage. They shot all of it. That's what
No
they were
way.
gonna. That's what they were gonna use for the Superman 5. They
No
were gonna
way.
reuse that footage, reshoot and shoot alternate or additional stuff to fix some of the story issues. Because obviously, plot wise, it's tied to this whole nuclear man shit, and they were gonna reshoot some stuff so that it wouldn't be, and just pass it off as a new movie.
You know what this sounds like?
What?
I feel like you know exactly what I'm gonna say. Zack Snyder's Justice League.
You mean the
Uh, uh,
Justice League?
well, that's what it was at first until they gave Zack Snyder what $80 million to finish the rest of his film.
I mean,
80
most of that
million.
was post work. They didn't
No,
really
it didn't.
reshoot.
I'm pretty sure he finished some script stuff too.
Oh yeah, they did some reshoots and additional
Yeah,
photography,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
not a
yeah. But
lot.
I will say it is funny to see Superman just always having a controversial history, especially with like, I mean, I don't think inherently Superman Returns is controversial by itself. It's everything yet again around it that makes it controversial, and it starts with Bryan Singer. You know, like let's just get the dog out of the doghouse. But Bryan Singer directed, he wrote this, and I'm pretty sure he produced this off the top of my head. Don't kill me if I'm wrong on that one. Um, who I'm sure we all know started off his career hot with the X-Men films. He conceived the idea for X-Men, not X-Men Returns, Jesus Christ, Superman Returns on X2, everyone's favorite X-Men film. And yes, it is mine because everything after that is a total pile of shit, except for the one from 2011 was pretty good. However, you know who not Zack Snyder, Jesus Christ, Bryan Singer's good friends with? Not good friends, but has a close relationship with? The Donner family.
Oh, really?
Lauren Schuler Donner,
I
whose
mean, I
husband.
know. I guess that explains why they were able to use. Um. Oh no, sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong thing. Sorry, never mind. Don't listen to me.
No, but you were. I know what you're saying, but you were close to the same idea. To the reason why this was greenlit was one, Richard Donner has passed away at this point, unfortunately. So the estate was left to Lauren Donner, and so that's why it was left on a hiatus for a while. And not she didn't want to
He hadn't
have
died yet.
anyone touch it. Yeah, yeah. What do you mean? 2000, he died before 2000, did he not?
No, he didn't. He died in 2000 or 2021, dude.
No
You're
fucking way.
21 years off.
No way, dude.
What the fuck are you talking about?
No way. He died. No.
Dude, look it up. He died
I
in
am
on
right now.
July
Where's
5th,
IMDb?
2021.
Why is IMDb
You
not
know why
telling
I know
me?
you're wrong? Because
No
this
way
movie
he
is the
did.
reason
Undisclosed. I thought he was dead.
this movie is the reason why the Donner cut came out. That release of the Donner cut coincided with the release of Superman Returns.
Did it actually? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Uh, dude, what? I'm looking at the IMDb now. I thought, why did I think he died in 2000, my guy? What?
I don't know.
Huh? Anyway, he still had a close relationship to the Donner family. He pitched his idea for the film to Richard Donner and the Donners. Well, both of them, because I think they were both like on the Donner estate for the Superman rights. So they both had to like give the check mark or whatever. Either way,
What Superman writes though? Because like
they
to
they
the
to the rights of the Superman character is under. They both owned it. The Donners.
I don't think that's right.
That is, bro. I'm telling you.
Because that doesn't make sense. Because the Salkinds owned the rights to Superman. It doesn't have anything to do with Richard Donner. I think what you're thinking of is Brando's estate,
I think you might be correct.
because
I'm
that
literally
was the
looking up
thing.
right now. Maybe I just have them mixed up.
When you said that, that was what I was going to say. I was like, oh, that explains why they were able to use Brand, because I didn't it didn't register that you said Donner, and so yeah, Brando's estate gave him the rights, or it gave them the rights to use, you know, the footage of his likeness for the Jor-El stuff. And that's why this is the first time that we've been able to hear slash see him since Superman 2.
Yeah, you're right. I had them backwards. Jesus Christ.
Okay,
But still,
I was
but
like, that
that's
doesn't make any sense.
I'm just happy because it's still like the same thing though. I just had it
Yeah,
reversed. It's still crazy though that of all people, it's fucking Brian Singer. I
yeah.
I'm sure we all know why. I'm not going to say it, but it's just I don't know how to talk about this film because it's just extremely mid. That's the
um,
best way I can describe it.
yeah, I think definitely okay, well, yeah, the biggest problem with this movie is that it's very derivative of the first one, and
But it tries not to be at the same time, and that's what's really
yeah,
confusing.
yeah. So you and I were talking about it a little bit, but it's really frustrating because this movie is it's saying that it's supposed to take place in the same continuity as the first two Superman movies, Superman 1 or Superman the movie and Superman 2, not the Richard Donner cut, but the Lester cut, because at this point no one had ever seen that
Theatrical,
version. But it doesn't really have anything to do with like any of that stuff, you know what I mean? Cuz
but like
I had
slightly it does. Like it's
not really
really,
though, cuz like
but
nothing
it does
really is
because it has
carried over.
Marlon.
The Daily Planet looks different. Fucking the cast is different.
But Marlon Brando's in it, and this
Yeah,
is the
except for
thing.
Marlon. Marlon
It,
Brando's the only one that.
the thing about this movie that's really confusing is it's trying to be like a legacy sequel, but it's also just trying to be a straight up remake at the
Well,
same
see,
time.
that's the problem though, is because this movie, the development of this movie started as a reboot. It was never intended to be a sequel to any of the other ones. They were just going to do a reboot, and that so it started off as Superman lives lives. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out the timeline. No, it started out as Superman. No, yeah, yeah, no, yes, sorry. It started off as Superman Reborn, and then that was rewritten into Superman Lives, and so that was the infamous Tim Burton
Huh.
Nick Cage one that was never released. That was they started some pre-production stuff, but it was they never shot anything. It was canceled. And then that transitioned into Superman Flyby, which was a J.J. Abrams led effort. And there's actually they at least did screen tests for Superman, and in the screen tests for it, both um, Brandon Routh and no, was it? Yeah, both Brandon Routh and Henry Cavill screen tested for that.
Huh.
Maybe, or maybe it was just Brandon Routh. No, sorry, Brandon Routh screen tested for that. He didn't get it, and then um,
Lo and behold.
what's his name? Brian Singer. He saw the screen test and he liked him. He liked that he looked so much like Christopher Reeve, and so that was how he got cast. But Henry Cavill did screen test for Superman Returns, and that was how Zack Snyder found him for Man of Steel. Anyways, so yeah, it was supposed to be a reboot, but none of no, I guess none of the ideas were working. J.J. Abrams left that project, and then Brian Singer came in and pitched his idea because he was a really big fan of the Donner movies. And so his pitch was like, let's not do a reboot. Let's do like, a sequel to the original ones. And they were like, they really liked that idea. And so they went with it. But I don't know, like we were saying, it doesn't match well. The biggest problem is that you can watch all of the previous Superman movies and go straight into this one, and it won't really feel that interconnected.
Yeah, it's really just confusing the whole time. Especially like the scenes with Lois and Superman, at least for the first half of the film, I was wildly confused if she actually knew who he was or not. And then was it you that I texted that I'm like, wow, bro, she went had sex, she did all this with him and still couldn't figure out that he was
Well, it's
Superman.
because he keeps kissing
Like,
her and making her forget, man. Because that's
hey, bro.
canon. That's canon to this.
Well, it
The
doesn't
ending of
feel canon
Superman
though. That's
2
the thing though.
is
I keep
canon to this
forgetting it
fucking
is.
movie.
You keep forgetting that though because fucking Kate Bosworth looks nothing like what's her face?
Oh, like
What?
Margot Kidder.
Yeah, like Margot Kidder, and she
I
doesn't play
mean,
the role
literally,
anything like Margot Kidder.
none of the actors look anything like the previous ones except
Except for
for Brandon Routh.
that's the thing, and I literally said this to you. Damn, bro, there's a few moments where there's a few profile shots on Brandon Routh, and I'm like, damn, that actually is him for a good few moments. But then the second they cut to anyone else, I'm like, God damn it! Like, why am I looking at James Marsden? Like, this guy literally just got casted because he's Cyclops in X2. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to like this movie because this was the Superman movie that I grew up watching. Like I had never seen any other Superman movie, but I had this movie on DVD, and so I watched it a lot, and I liked it growing up, even though I didn't really understand what was going on. And that was the other thing too. Like I watched this movie after a long time, expecting having seen the first two, expecting to like get a better understanding of the film, but was immediately disappointed that it had nothing to do with any of the other ones. And I was just like, so why make it a sequel? Like it being a sequel to the original movies literally does nothing.
You telling us that it is just actually makes this one worse because those
Well,
are
it
that
makes it
much
more
better.
annoying because it's so similar to the other ones, and I'm so tired. I'm so tired of seeing Lex Luthor. Like, please give me a different fucking villain. Nuclear Man was better because I mean I know it has a lot to do with Lex Luthor, but I don't know. I'm really tired of seeing Lex Luthor as the main villain in these movies.
Hey, he's not the main villain in Man of Steel.
Yeah, but
I
it's
got
another
you
it's
now,
Zod though
bro.
again though. That's the thing though. They
Okay, you
can't.
act like we had seen Zod for like 4 other films at this point, though.
We might as fucking well have.
I don't know, bro. I'm tired of seeing that fucking bald ass head of his. So,
But I
uh,
will say I do like Lex's character in this movie. Don't get me wrong, Kevin Spacey, bad person. Don't fuck with
separate
that
art
shit.
from artist.
But I mean, it's just that because I think he's giving a good performance and he's giving his own take while also still being in line with like what Gene Hackman did. But it's really hard not to just be like, this is the same thing again. It's the same thing he did in the first one.
Just way worse. Not as
And
good.
yeah, and the relationship every time we watch one of these movies, the relationship between Lois and Lane and Clark just
Gets
irritates me
worse.
so much more. I don't know
It's
why
just
these
not
people can't
good.
write a good romance. It's too hard for them
And then I just don't like this really weird sudden thing about them having a kid together.
because
And
it makes
then
no fucking sense.
it makes no sense, but then once you try to think about it, it turns the context of things a little weird. Like not
Yeah.
intentionally weird, but it's like, damn, bro. So they must have fucked at some point in that second film, right? Like
Well, so
was that the rain in Buffalo at the big Hoover Dam thing, whatever the fuck it's called?
you
Like
mean at Niagara Falls?
Niagara Falls, yeah. I can't, bro. I'm from New
Well,
York too.
no,
That's
because they
bad.
do have sex in it, don't they? Don't they like
That's
wake
what
up
I'm
and
trying to
bed
remember. I'm
together?
pretty sure they
But
do.
that's after
But
that's in this Fortress of Solitude.
that yeah, that's so they fuck in the fortress. So is that when she gets pregnant to have this like really ugly fucking kid of theirs?
I don't know. I any way you try to think it because that
And then
doesn't
he
make
erases
sense.
her memory. And then he comes back and then he fucking leaves her again just so he can stalk her from the outside, bro. Like it's so weird.
I don't
Like
know. It's really dumb because it doesn't make sense because obviously the Superman 2 has such a specific look because it came out like 30 years before this movie did, and then everything looks like it was made in fucking 2000, and so it's just like
yeah.
how. how much time has gone by since the ending of Superman 2 when they had sex to this one. And but then if you're even if you think like, okay, so they had sex after this, Lois still doesn't know who he is, and so it's like, did he tell her again and erase her memories, or did she
Well,
just have sex with him without knowing who he was, which again doesn't reflect well on Lois. And then yeah, he leaves to go look at Krypton
but
for 5 years,
the
and
thing
then he
I
comes
have
back
a
and expects, I don't know, it's just really dumb.
but the problem I have like with that whole like him leaving is like it kept confusing me because the film keeps giving you the expectation that you should know that at the end of the second film this specific thing happened when it never did. You know, like you knowing that
Yeah.
he's supposed to be going somewhere for 5 years. Like they're supposed to have you like had already known in the second film that he was leaving to go discover Krypton or go look for it, as if like he wanted to double or reassure himself, as if we were as the audience knew that coming in, and so the audience are treating not the audience but the characters in the film are just kind of treating it like, oh, you're back, you're gone. And then when they start dealing with like the actual ramifications of him just disappearing, and Lois is like, you've been gone for so long. Like, why are you so hurt? Like, when he erased her memory, I thought he erased everything. So, like, what does she remember? What doesn't she remember? And then,
Mm.
like, everything is just so confusing. Whatever they're telling you that you should know, they directly, like, go against that a few scenes later with some other bullshit. Like I don't. I hate this movie. It's just so mid beyond belief that it's not fun.
I don't hate it. It's just it's really hard to get into sometimes because of a lot of those issues. It's a very frustrating watch a lot of the times. And the thing that I hate the most is just the general setup of the movie. And it just there's a lot of mental gymnastics that you have to do if you really want to think of it as a sequel. And
There's no
the whole
gymnastics you
the
can
whole
do though to
plot
make it make
point.
sense.
Yeah, that's the problem. And then the whole plot point of them somehow having a kid, and shoehorning in that's the other thing too. It makes it more difficult because now you have to believe that not only did they have a kid, but he left at the perfect time for her to start dating Richard, and for
He
Richard
also looks a lot older than 5,
to
but that's either here or there.
for for Richard to like be able to feasibly pass as the father for
Without
everyone.
question, too.
Yeah, without question. It's all way too convenient. And then Richard doesn't really serve much of a purpose in the story either.
Well, none of the side characters really serve much of a purpose outside
Yeah.
of maybe Lois and maybe Lex. Because first off, I gotta ask you: do you believe that fucking Lois Lane would survive that plane crash the way she was tossed around in that motherfucker before Superman caught it? Because I thought she was gonna be like a fucking can of soup when she came out.
I don't believe that she survived getting hit on the head with that big ass door in the yacht, but
I forgot
here
about
we
that
are.
too. I forgot about that too, dude.
Yeah, I
That
don't know. I mean, yeah, it is balancing the line of suspension of disbelief that she would be able to survive all of that stuff. But I don't know. Those are the more entertaining scenes, so I don't want to make fun of them too much because
I
everything else
mean,
around it isn't really that good.
that's the thing. I feel like the movie has a relatively solid start to it. I like the
Hmm.
setup. I like how. That's the thing. I enjoy that they firmly establish the continuity of this universe, but then it's everything that comes after that goes directly against that, and that's what doesn't make sense. They set everything up with it being a sequel to the second one with Marlon Brando. They show you Krypton exploding again with the
They
fucking
have the classic
voiceover.
title
Yeah, they have the
crawl.
classic title. Like it's literally all right there to tell you, and then it's just like they totally miscast everyone outside of not Christopher Reeves, Brandon Routh. Jesus Christ!
Hmm.
And then it's just a total remake. Dude, I don't know. I just don't like this film. I hate it too because if I say something good about it, I don't want to because fuck Brian Singer. You
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
this
I
is one
mean,
of
the
those
movie
things
looks
like
good. That's
I don't think it
yeah.
holds up that well, like
I
visual
mean, okay,
effects
so the
wise.
the digital doubles are really annoying
They're
for Christopher
horrifying,
Reeve.
bro.
But when I feel like it's the exact opposite problem of the first or the last one we talked about. I think the green screen and blue screen stuff are more effective in this
That's
movie
true.
than the digital double ones. Because you can really tell that it's not him. It looks really rubbery. He doesn't move in the correct way. Like you can tell the movement is off. And it's fine for like wide shots and stuff, but it'll go in on it, and I'm like, you shouldn't have done that. The technology was not there. You didn't know how to do it right. But then all of a sudden, there will be a shot where I can actually see Brandon Routh like performing, and it's a green screen and it looks good. It looks good.
I think like another issue with this one that is like prevalent with the other sequels that this one chooses to ignore is how like a lot of the storylines just kind of feel separated. Yet again, Lex's story is just on the side of everything else.
Yeah,
While by the time the third act comes, yeah, Superman, I'm behind it all. Look at this giant master plan I've got. In this film, it's a giant man made from nuclear fusion. In this one, I'm making a
a
planet from
continent.
Krypton. A continent made of Krypton that's gonna, he says that's gonna get rid of all of the US, but when he showed the map, it only took out the eastern hemisphere, east coast. But I am not one to fight him. And then I don't even want to talk about like the whole cannibal aspect of it with the dogs. Like that was just like
Oh,
sort of a weird fetish that I feel like Brian Singer put in, but that might be me looking too far into it.
yeah, I don't know. I've kind of settled a little bit because obviously that was the other thing too. When I first watched this movie, after a while, I had watched um I had watched Superman the movie, the TV cut, and I hated it so much that I didn't watch Superman 2, and I went straight into Superman Returns to see if there was a Superman movie that I liked. And I was so disappointed by how similar the stories were that I couldn't really enjoy Superman Returns.
Because the whole time the film, it feels like the film's just telling you like we are just like a lower version of what came before, and so
Yeah.
I just feel like I should just always go to the first one if I'm gonna watch that, you know,
Well, yeah,
and
that's
that's
what
the
it
issue.
is. You can't. That's the problem. This movie was doomed from the start because they wanted to reboot, but they also wanted to, keep it in the same
Remake.
continuity. But with that, people are going to compare it to the other ones, and if you're trying so hard to live up to the first one, and the story is essentially the same, you're never going to be able to accomplish that. And like, yeah, there are things that I like about this movie, but they're not enough to
They're so
really.
far outweighed by everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I still think this is definitely a better movie than Superman 2 or Superman 3 or Superman 4, and I don't know. I think I still kind of like this one over Man of Steel, but that's more
Dude,
of a
stop.
personal preference.
Stop.
No.
I'm not hearing this right. No, stop. I can hear all the criticism from Man of Steel, but I refuse to believe that this is a more enjoyable film than Man of Steel.
No, for me it is. For me, I think it's more enjoyable. If I'm
That's
being honest, I
crazy.
think they're kind of in the same category of like rating wise. Like I think they're on the
That's
same level
fair. I
in all reality.
my issue is just like I feel like at the halfway mark of this film, it just becomes a massive drop off for me in
It
terms
does
of
lose a little steam.
it just loses so much steam that I could not give one less of a shit to finish this film.
Man of Steel is the reverse. It's
Man,
the first half of the movie is really bad, and then the second half is a little more interesting.
we'll get to that in a minute because fucker, we're gonna. I feel like we're gonna get a little loud over that movie a little
Yeah.
bit. Um, but yeah, overall, this is just a really disappointing. I think is a good word
Yeah,
because it gives you such high expectations once it sets itself up that it
yeah,
never fully lives up to it. And I'm not just talking about like from the first like 5 to 10 minutes of the film, but just from like how the film was created, it seems like they were trying to put a lot of that nostalgic attention of that original Donner in it that it hurts to watch because it doesn't. I don't know why the Donners like this at all. Like I don't know what like not Donners, but the Brandos, Marlon Brando. It's just disappointing. Like also, can we just move on from Marlon to like it's 2006. I'm not gonna say if he's dead at this point because I can't remember. I'm pretty sure he was. Leo, are you looking that up to correct me? I'm pretty sure he. I'm
I
pretty sure he
can.
was dead before
I'm
2006.
pretty sure.
I,
Yeah, he died in 2004.
okay, I was about to say 90s, so I'm glad you said that before I said that. Um, but yeah, well, I think a lot of my issues with this will be brought up with why I feel like I enjoyed Man of Steel more. So I'm saving some of those opinions for that. Um, any last words before we do like some wrap ups? Other than Parker Posey, literally should not like so many pointless characters.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Like I said, there's some things that I like about this movie. Um, I think when there is action, it's decently well done. But there's so much useless stuff in between, like watching Lex and his cronies do shit. Lois and her family dynamic bullshit. Like all of that is like really
Yawn.
uninteresting. I do like that it kind of I do like the scenes between Lois and Superman because I like them dealing with the consequences of him leaving, but there's not enough of it, and a lot of it just focuses on the fact that she's with a different guy now. And I already didn't like the relationship that she had with Superman and Clark, and it's worse here because they really hammer home the point that she does not care about Clark in this movie. And
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm
she
supposed
is
to I don't know why
aroused by Superman, bro.
yeah. And I just don't understand how I'm supposed to
Like
be
her.
invested in the romance if she doesn't like him. Anyways, yeah.
Final thoughts, or is those your final thoughts? And
Those
then
are my
give it. Give
those are
give
my final thoughts.
give your rating, asshole.
I would probably give this a 3
Wow,
out of 5.
literally barf, disgusting.
Are you saying it's
Um,
lower?
fuck yes, it is, bro. This shit is an easy 1.5, bro, out of 5.
Bruh.
Bro, this is my review. I can't get over the fact that Lois just kept fucking Superman without ever knowing he was Clark Kent. Did he have like a slip where his dick comes out in the suit that we don't see? Like, does he ever undress? Like, when they're having sex, does his little curl ever move? Because when he's in the hospital, that bitch is still perfect.
Oh, you're
Like,
right. That is kind of funny.
it's always gelled, bro. That's one of his superpowers. Always having
Damn.
gelled hair. But yeah, let's move on to the way more interesting film, I think, for me and you to
Uh,
talk about.
like I said, it's more of the same.
I gotta hear your arguments towards this.
I mean, what do you like about this movie? First of all, there are good
I
things in this movie. There's good things in
so
this movie. I'm not saying it's like the worst thing I've ever seen.
Okay, so I know you do ratings at the end, but I'll give mine away right now. I give it a 3 out of 5. So I'm not saying like it's a
I
masterpiece,
would also give it a 3 out of 5.
but I definitely think people talk way too bad about the film than I think they should, which I think is ironic for the cult following it created with everything. Um, but I just think inherently, I think the way I explained it to you a few weeks ago is like a good way. If you just view this as like an Elseworld, don't think about the other films that come after it. Just view this as like its own thing. I think it's a much more enjoyable film because I hear people arguing like, oh, Superman would never like kill all these people in the city, this and that. But then you'd argue like this is realistic. He can't save everyone like in the James Gunn film where he just throws everyone underground essentially. That's not the realistic thing, but it's just like I don't care. I've seen the same exact Superman film done like 4 or 5 times at this point in various different ways. There's Elseworld comics. It's not like it was ever a new thing for a darker, grittier Superman, especially like in the tone of Zack Snyder. If you've ever seen like 300, so I never thought it was too outrageous to go the route of the way he did. Like especially with the neck snap at the end. Like I thought that was crazy with the amount of outrage that caused from people because I could care one less of a shit. I thought it worked for like the emotional impact of the ending, and I understand the moment. I understand that it's not what Superman would do, but at the same time, like I don't view this as a traditional Superman film. You know?
I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with it to a certain point. How do I explain this?
Zack Snyder ruined the fucking legacy of Superman. No.
I think my problem with this movie and like the direction and style they went in is that it's not really trying to be realistic. It's trying to be just darker. And I get that that's what Zack Snyder kind of gravitates towards, but he doesn't use it in a really interesting way to tell a Superman story. Yeah, most of it just feels like more of a shock value thing of like,
and
oh, look at Superman in this different, unique way, and not really trying to tell a good story. And I agree that I don't think the idea of Superman killing is not the worst one because obviously, like throughout the history of Superman in media, like he's killed people before. I think just the way that they go about it, like the execution, doesn't really land as well for me. Because that's the thing that I like about this movie is that Zod is treated like he's set up as a villain that you kind of have to kill in order to defeat him.
that's what you brought up the point of that, and that's like part of the reason why I liked Zod in this movie a lot is because he felt like that force that the only way to get rid of him is to go against the one code you're supposed to have.
Yeah, and but I don't know. I just think that one, the Clark that they set up in this movie clearly has such a strong regard for like life, and it kind of comes too little too late. Like the resolution, like I don't know, it doesn't feel like the natural resolution to their big fight. And I really wish that they had tied up, or because the big part of the climax of the movie is the stakes all revolve around that like world engine thing and the terraforming of the earth for the Kryptonians. And I really wish they had resolved that issue like while resolving the fight with Zod. And like there's also a really easy workaround with like the him killing Zod with like the Phantom Zone stuff, cuz like those people die, right? Like they're
Yeah,
essentially being sucked into a black hole. And so, you could have Zod die with the Phantom Zone singularity thing, and I don't think anybody really would have had that, you know, big of a reaction to it. And it would have tied it up more nicely. But yeah, those are my thoughts on
no,
the
yeah,
ending.
I get what you're saying, and I actually do agree with you. Like, I think some of the like to give some criticism towards the film in terms of the story. I don't really like how what it feels like Zach did or like brought to the idea board when he was pitching this or thinking about this film was what are ideas and concepts in the original films that I can build off of that no one asked me to, right? That's really what it feels like because the first 20 minutes feels like he spent so much time trying to
For the
plan,
prologue.
yeah, just for the prologue to plan and develop for all this stuff that never really becomes relevant ever again and
I
doesn't
mean,
really add much to the story.
it doesn't. That's the other problem. Like it becomes relevant, but it doesn't. It becomes relevant too late into the movie. Like Zod doesn't really show up until the end, and at that point, we've spent so much time running around doing useless shit that I kind of don't really care anymore.
Well, the film is just really oddly structured too, in my
Yeah,
opinion. Like it starts off with a 20-minute prologue, then
yeah.
like an hour-long prequel that's intermixed with like modern day stuff for the film, and then it turns into an hour-long fight scene. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's I enjoy, that's why going back to what we were talking about with Superman Returns is it's at least enjoyable from the aspect in there's it feels like there's always a lot happening. That's why I like at least the prologue, because at least while a lot of it's pretty much meaningless, it's cool watching fucking Russell Crowe just running around being a badass on an alien planet, right? Like I think that's a pretty cool moment, and then just seeing absolute fucking destruction. Yeah, people fucking die, they lose their lives. I don't care though. It was fucking cool, bro. You know, I, that's more my thing. I don't know. I feel like people. I know me and you don't have like this deep connection to the Superman character. I feel like a lot of other people do that are so guarded by the idea of who Superman should be that I think has completely distorted the view of this film for many people that aren't even like fans of Zack Snyder.
I mean, it definitely doesn't help that this movie is directly followed by two of the worst movies
Two
that
of the
we've.
worst pieces of shit known to man,
Because you
bro.
have you have Batman v Superman,
I'll never watch
and
that
then
film
and then
ever
you
again.
have we're probably gonna end up watching it for this, but
Dude, you can literally not force me to watch that fucking film. I will literally shit myself and sit in it for 2 days.
and then it's also directly continued by Justice League, which is
Oh,
another piece of shit. And so yeah, there's definitely a bias. I don't think this is the worst one, but there's definitely a lot of flaws, and they're kind of glaring at times. Um, like we were talking before, the structure is really weird. I don't hate the idea of like telling his origin through like flashbacks, because that's a lot of
there's
ground to
too much
cover.
kid stuff. Like, bro, I get it. Like, you're not
I don't know.
used
I
to
kind
our
of like
atmosphere.
seeing the kid stuff
I
because in
thought
the
it was cool,
first
but there
movie,
was so much of it to a point where I'm like, bro, how the fuck has no one figured out who you are yet? Like, for me, like, I get like in terms of the story, trying to work Lois into it, the investigative side. Her finding out he's Superman, I did not think made her any smarter than a fucking homeless guy doing it. Because this guy made it as apparent and prevalent that he is Superman the moment he makes himself known to the world. Like, I don't know. I just think you got to disbelief everything heavily. Because I'm just like, bro, I laughed my fucking ass off. This is the one thing that like I could never take seriously in the film is when teenage Clark asks Kevin Costner, well, what am I supposed to do, Dad? Let him die? Pause for 5 seconds. Baby. And you know what? I'm like, he's right. But at the same time, with it makes it so hard to like believe with what his dad wanted for him, and for the moment that his dad quote unquote sacrifices himself. We'll probably get into that in a minute. It kind of deflates all of the father stuff with Kevin Costner,
mm,
because it never feels like he's trying to hide who he is, you know. And I
mm.
get he's not Superman during any of those moments, but the moment he makes himself known as Superman, I don't know why no one just instantly thinks of him. Like, wow, this kid pushed my school bus out of water and then just swam and just saved this kid's life. And now there's a guy just floating around lifting things up. I wonder if that has to do with anything. Fucking idiots. No wonder why fucking Zod just came in and just like manipulated the shit out of you guys. Like, I'm sorry. I will say this is outside of Christopher Reeves. I know Henry Cavill isn't Christopher Reeves, but I think this is the most well-rounded cast of actors. Like, I very much enjoy the performances. I am very much on the side of Henry Cavill as Superman. I wasn't one of those people like, oh, bring him back or you hate him. But I was like, hey, if you brought him back, I wouldn't be upset. I enjoyed his Superman. I thought he brought something different that Christopher Reeves and like Brandon
Brandon
Routh
Routh.
brought. Like that much, I did enjoy. Lawrence Fishburne's always cool. I like Kevin Costner. Amy Adams is fine. I'm not the biggest fan of her, but
She's the worst character in this movie by
she's the
far.
worst character. Yeah,
I think it's. I know it's not the actress. I know
that's what I'm
it's
saying.
just the
Like she's
character.
whatever, but like I don't feel like that's saying anything at this point because it feels like no one's been able to write her character.
Except
So
for James Gunn.
yeah, which is ironic because I feel like everyone's been saying, "Oh, she's the worst character in it." Oh,
They're
she
wrong.
doesn't. Yeah, I think going back and watching all of these films just proved that, right?
Yeah, no, it does. It 100% does.
Like at least at the end
Lois
of
Lane is insufferable in most of these movies.
no, I find her pretty insufferable in this one though the most. I'll be honest.
No, you're
She
right. Like Margot Kidder, I've kind of come around to a little
she's
bit.
enduring in those films. Amy Adams is just straight up annoying. I'm sorry, Amy Adams. I
Well, she's just I don't know. There's not much to her character,
I don't
really.
like the way they work her into the story. Like
No,
she just
yeah.
randomly comes across like the first of all, like they get rid of oh my god, why am I blanking on the name of like his
Jimmy
home?
Olsen.
No. Where Superman goes like his home in the Antarctic.
Oh, the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, like they sub the Fortress of Solitude for like an alien spaceship that she can like get into, and I just thought that was kind of ridiculous that she just randomly comes across it, and then just gets fucking whipped by one of the alien ships, and
Oh,
then yet again he just gives up his identity to her right away. Like, bro, I get you want to save her, but then, uh,
I don't know.
uh,
I take more issue with their romance
they
and
don't have a romance,
her
bro. There's no
investigation
chemistry.
her
There's absolutely no
investigation
chemistry.
into him cuz that's the problem with the first half is that there's good things that in there. It's just that it all kind of feels random because there's no goal. Like there's no main goal or conflict to the first half of the film. It kind of just feels
The
like
first
things are
two
happening,
thirds.
and it isn't until like Zod shows up that finally there's like something like tying everything together.
Michael Shannon also fucking awesome in this film. That's the one thing
Yeah.
I will say. He is an absolute badass motherfucker. God, they ruined him in the Flash.
Yeah, but yeah, and then the problem is that going into her investigation into the mysterious man from the spaceship. It's there's a montage of things that don't really matter. She finally figures out who he is, and it amounts to essentially nothing. And because instead of making that like showing us her learning more about Clark and Superman through that and kind of forming a better understanding of him to like feed into like the romance part, it just kind of feels more like wasted time. And yeah, they don't interact enough for anything to really be feasible. And then for no reason at all at the end they have the most awkward fucking kiss I've ever seen in a movie.
Well, not only that, like, bro, I fully rewatched this movie and I sat there and I think it was the scene when he first like gives himself up and he's talking to Lois in like the interrogation room and the fucking who is like the fucking head of the military in there, whichever character it is.
I don't know.
Fucking
It's that dude from what
yeah,
Law and Order SUV.
yeah. I can't remember his name, but anyway, when he literally says to Superman, "Why did you ask for Lois, and why did you only tell her your identity?" And they give her up right away. Like, bro, just why can't? I'm sorry, but would the military not just torture Lois to figure out who he is?
No, they win
And
100%.
also, I will also add on: if Lois Lane could figure out through finding Martha Kent who he is, why can't the military just do that? There's so many things to their relationship and like the way Clark goes about his identity that just pisses me off way more than like all the other Superman stuff. And I don't know why, bro. I can disbelieve like him just like mowing Zod into like 20 buildings for like 10 minutes. But dude, he gives himself away to Lois just so he can fuck? Nah. Nah.
They don't even do anything except that
Dude,
fucking
honestly, I
kiss.
don't know. They might have had a kid in between this and and the Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah, I don't know. I
This
just
movie made way too much money too.
that's the
Fucking
other thing too
it
is that I
costs a
don't.
lot. I didn't realize how much it cost.
How
Oh my
much was
god.
it?
250, well, projected between 225 and 258 million.
I mean, that sounds about right.
I want someone to like just put the inflation argument between the Superman and James Gunn in the comments so bad because I'm waiting for it. Just looking at the 670. Well, I'm gonna be an asshole and look up Superman James Gunn. Because now I'm curious to see how much that made without like looking at inflation.
Well, I mean, it's still pretty close though.
Yeah, I think
Because
it's
I
like
looked at it
within five
recently.
million.
Yeah,
Oh my god, bro, 611. And by the way,
it's
it
like
was made
really
for
close.
225 million. That's crazy.
I think it's funny that a lot of people are like arguing about that and being like, "Oh, it's not even gonna outgross Man of Steel," but they were doing that when it had only been out for like a couple of weeks or
And
something.
you know what I find even more funny? A lot of the arguments are saying like, "Man, it's such a failure because it didn't reach the success of Man of Steel." When I don't think people realize that outside of superhero films, majority of films and producers and studios do not expect to break even at a box office. Breaking even at a box office is a win for them because they make all of their money after the fact. So if they can make their money back in the box office, which they did and then some, they're making so much more money from all of the shit that they're getting from putting it on VOD. Like that whole
Yeah,
debacle about, oh, why are they putting it on VOD? It's because they know they're going to make a shit ton of money. Like,
yeah,
Peacemaker is one thing. Like, James Gunn can say about Peacemaker all he wants, but they are going to make a shit ton of money with that $25 PVOD price, right? Like, so
yeah.
whatever argument you can make, 611 million is still a shit ton of money, guys. Like, sorry to break your chains.
I don't know. I think it's just a lot of people, like angry fans, trying to figure out a legitimate way to like criticize this movie because they don't have any, and it's still not. It's still incorrect.
No,
Anyways,
yeah, I don't disagree.
back to the main subject point. Like I don't know.
It is funny though to know that Christopher Nolan was the one to present Zack Snyder with the idea of this film
Oh,
because he
I always
so
forget he's a producer on this.
yeah, he's not only producer but he has a story credit
Oh
because
yeah,
I
that's right. Yeah,
because I think he gave him like I don't know if it was like a basic fucking 3 act structure or something, but he gave him like a loose plot about his idea for what like a quote unquote grounded Superman film could be because this was right after
The
um,
Dark Knight
the Dark Knight came out. No, not the Dark Knight. Dark Knight Returns. Wait, no, fuck. God damn it,
Rises.
Rises. Yeah, god damn it. And
But when I
he
said the
wanted
Dark
to
Knight,
make
I
this.
was referring to like the series,
That's what I
the
figured, but
trilogy.
I know like the Dark Knight is actually the title of the second one, so it throws some people off. But fucking Christopher Nolan wanted to make this originally, and then thought Zack Snyder would be better doing it. And then I think Christopher Nolan also wanted to do like Interstellar. So,
Mm. Yeah, that was a
which
poor
God bless your
decision.
soul. What?
I
What?
don't think Zack Snyder
Ah.
was was the right
Oh
person
no,
for
that
this
I
movie.
agree with. But
He's
bro, I
just
love Interstellar. Sorry, I thought that's
I
what you
don't
were
know. Yeah,
talking
no,
about.
yeah, Interstellar is a good movie. I don't know. It's I definitely feel like this is his least visually interesting film to date.
Well, that's
Because
the issue. It's
the
so fucking
Watchmen.
boring to look at this, bro.
Yeah,
Like, no matter how cool the action scenes are like filmed and like how he puts you in them, like people are always going like, "Oh, I love how this like him flying in this shot is filmed compared to this movie." Like, I don't care about that, bro. Like him filming in the original is cool. Him flying in this is sick. Him flying in the new one's cool. Like the dude's flying and like it looks like you're on a GoPro. Like what's not cool about that? Neither here or there. I think all the cool action is just undermined by the really ugly color tone of this film.
It's really bad because like
It's so lifeless and like it doesn't like I don't look at a film and be like, man, dude, a director really had no idea for a color palette. This is a film I look at and he's just like,
it's
I really think like Zack Snyder was on set after they made this movie, was just like, man, dude, I don't know if I want to use like a lot of bright colors, a lot of neutral colors, a mix of both. Maybe go with like some hippie shit, but like nope, he just went with like the driest shit possible, grays, blacks. I'm like, bro, even like
well,
this,
it's
like
not
as
even
cool
that.
as the
It's
suit
just
is, it's still bland.
I don't know. The desaturated look just doesn't suit it at all because it's kind of hard to care about anything when it's just constantly this dim gray color, and a lot of it focuses on I don't know. It doesn't feel like the tone of the film is that dark in comparison to like Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman. The one um good thing I'll say about that movie is that the finally the color grading matched the tone of the movie. But it's even more annoying in this one because like at the end of the movie it's kind of supposed to be more like uplifting and inspiring, like because Clark is entering like the traditional role that we're used to seeing him in, and it's just still this flat color grade.
That's my problem. Is like everything just kind of meshes together. The sun, the sky, the
The
concrete,
clothes, the locations.
everything. It all just mushes together, and you're just like, ew, this is like just prison food. It's disgusting to look at.
That's the perfect fucking metaphor.
It really no, it's true. Like it's awful.
Well, the other thing too is it's not helped by the shitty fucking cinematography as well, because everything's constantly fucking shaking. Like, I don't know. I don't understand the reason for that other than like, oh, let's
It's
make it
cool,
look.
bro.
Yeah, it looks cool. I don't know. It looks dumb to me because there's no reason for it, and it's constantly like that. I fucking hate it.
Ah, that cuts deep.
But yeah, I agree with you. I like Henry Cavill in the role. This is definitely the better version because it's at least his character is somewhat
This is the best
competently
version of his
written.
character.
Yeah, Batman v Superman, he's not really much of a character. He's
And
not in
then
Justice League enough
whichever
for.
Justice League you watch, he's just not a relevant character. So,
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for Henry Cavill because like this is the only good one he was in.
but this is the only
Um,
like true Superman movie you see him in. Like,
yeah.
as much as you want to call Batman v Superman a Batman v Superman film, it definitely leans heavily more on the Batman side.
Well, I mean, even then, like the moments where his character is in the movie,
It's a lot of Clark stuff.
well, not even that. It's just it doesn't feel like the same character a lot of the time.
Yeah,
It
that's true.
feels like someone's writing him to be like Batman.
Because it has to
But
fit the world of Gotham.
anyways, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I just think there are good things that I think people overly hammer in this movie to give
Mm,
it a lesser remark. Like, I get the points that they're saying, but I just think, like, they hammer it in too much. Like I was saying, this is not what Superman would do. Like, yeah, but this movie is not trying to be that movie.
yeah,
So I don't think that's necessarily a criticism. You might not like that aspect of it, and that's fine. Just don't play it to be something that it isn't. And I think that's like a lot of the issue when talking around this movie is it's diluted with a lot of just emotion, a lot of emotional response. And I do think there's a lot of good in here, but the good is also just like kind of mishandled by not a lot of bad, just a lot of type of things in my eye. I know I gave the grade before, but like I'd give it a 3 out of 5. Like just right there, I think it's a perfectly good adaptation of a Superman film, and I enjoy it for what it is. That's all I'll say about it.
mm. Yeah, I agree. I also gave it a 3 out of 5. I think when I originally reviewed it, I gave it a 3.5, but um, I would say it's more watchable than entertaining now, especially after now that we have like the James Gunn Superman. Um, yeah, there's things that I like about it, but I don't know. I can't. It's the same problem I have with Superman Returns. I can't really get over the things that I don't like, and I don't mean. I just mean that in like a strictly filmmaking sense. You know what I mean?
No,
There's
yeah, that's fair.
things that I really don't like in the execution of it, and it really rubs me the wrong way, and it just makes me feel like the people involved didn't care. And yeah, because this is a perfectly acceptable version of Superman in the same way that James Gunn's version is also perfectly acceptable. They're different, but kind of in line with each other in like the core principal values. And so, yeah.
I think the issue with Man of Steel is, or well, like Zack Snyder's Superman is Zack Snyder wanted a completely different version of that character than what everyone else wanted.
Yeah.
At least at the time, because I if it's 2013, this is exactly the type of Superman film I feel like you'd get, right? So
Hmm.
I don't know. I think it fits the time, it fits the era. It is what it is. People need to stop getting so emotional about an over a decade long old film at this point. 13 years. Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
That is fucking crazy, bro. That is kind of crazy. Like when I saw Superman Returns was 2006. I remember seeing that in theaters. I'm like, "Oh my god, bro. I was 6. What? Holy shit." Um but anything else before we log off?
Did we give our ratings of the other two?
Yeah, we did. We did.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
What are we
So,
watching next week though?
next week we are talking about the Toxic Avenger. Stay tuned for that. As you know, the remake is coming out with Peter Dinklage. Super excited about that movie. Super excited to talk about the Toxic Avenger because it's weird. But anyways, see you guys next time.
Peace.